welcome to the Valley Indie Podcast, Navel Gazing, episode 27. We got Eugene, Jodie, Caitlin, and it's Friday morning, and we thought we'd talk a little bit about the crime that we've been seeing in the Valley, since we're working on a couple stories today, this week, and next week on crime stats, and, you know, what crime rates are up, what's down, what's going on in each of the towns. And Eugene had a really good story 2 days ago, I think, on burglaries and sort of what's fueling this increase in residential.
Drugs.
Yeah, it's drugs.
Pill-popping freaks.
So,
yeah,
were you surprised by that? Did that surprise you?
You know what surprised me? Yeah, everyone's like, okay, yeah, you always hear that burglaries and stuff like that are fueled by people who are addicted to drugs. Yes, it's a cliche at this point. And even when we talk to police, you know, in Seymour and Shelton, they said, well, we're not seeing a dramatic increase. This has been going on for some time. And, yeah, that didn't surprise me. What surprised me was I stumbled upon stats from the feds showing how many people are going into emergency rooms to be treated for, they call it, quote, non-medical use of painkillers. Mm-hmm. So that could be somebody ODing, somebody takes too many pills. Usually it's a sign that you have a problem with the painkillers. The amount of people that came into emergency rooms between like 2004 and 2009 for some of these pills went up like 300%.
That's across the country?
Yeah, that's across the U.S. You know, it was some type of morphine went up 300%. Oxycodone had something like 256% increase. So that shocked me. And also just being someone, I'm not familiar with that painkiller addiction, you know, and I'm sort of fascinated. To me, it's like, well, this stuff really it gets into your brain. And, you know, if you're at the point, what's interesting to me also is the fact that you have allegedly a few people responsible for a crap ton of burglaries, mm-hmm. which is sort of amazing to me. You know, I think in years past, or at least my experience, if you're like, you know, addicted to whatever drug and you're looking to fuel your addiction, you're walking along somewhere and, you know, you see that a window's open or you check to see if a car's unlocked. It's a crime of opportunity. You go in there, you get what you can. There seems, just from reading the court documents and just covering all these things, with these burglars, it seems like there's almost like a mania to it.
Yeah.
To do that. I mean, one guy's got 84 criminal charges pending against him. You know, and it's, of course, you know, I don't know what the exact strength of the case is. Could be, for all I know, they could all be completely innocent. But it's really something. And the other thing that's sort of, the reason we did this, because you could argue, yeah, drugs fuel crimes. You know, you're not going to win. You're not going to win a Pulitzer for that. But the fact that people were coming onto our Facebook page, remember we had so many posts from Seymour over the summer and into the fall about, remember, like the gunshot one. Somebody was saying there's gunshots on, I can't remember the name of the road, over... Colony. Yes.
In Colony, yeah.
Yeah, I just almost hit you in the face. But like, there was this... There were so many people, this got stolen, this got stolen. It was all these like little items being stolen out of people's yards and stuff like that. And at first, you know, my reaction was, oh, that happens all the time. I mean, we can't do a story every time someone steals a red wagon off your patio.
Yeah.
But then you look and it's like, there was
totality, like that's a huge...
And it wasn't paranoia. It wasn't paranoia in Seymour. That was what it turned out to be. They were robbing people like crazy up there. To the point where that town puts out a code red message. I mean, that is... I've never heard of that being done to alert people. So, and just the fact that, you know, then it turns out we got, you know, a letter talking about what Seymour was doing. I mean, you know, they had pretty much cops everywhere. Mm-hmm. They worked this... it sounded like, you know, more than 8 hours a day. It was a full-time gig for at least 9 days leading up to the arrest of the guy up there, Doug Fast, who's from Stratford, who's suspected of burglarizing a bunch of houses. He's the guy that allegedly led police on a chase and blah, blah, blah. Caught in the act by Colin Driscoll. And, you know, if you're familiar, go to our site. You can read that story there. But I talked to some cops, and they said that's a guy, because we looked at his criminal history. 47-year-old guy suddenly starts, you know, breaking into houses all over. It didn't seem like it made any sense. But from what the police said, he had a criminal record going back years ago. One can assume that he he had cleaned up, and just addiction is an amazing thing to me, because then what happens is you pick up your drug again, and you're right back from where you left off, and suddenly you're stealing people's jewelry all over the place.
In your story, what kind of struck me was the transition from the pills to the heroin. How it's a cheaper drug, but same kind of high, and then you're hooked. Then you're hooked.
Yeah, I guess what happens is you don't want to do, and I guess like you think of it. I mean, there's a stereotype. I mean, who's heroin to me? I mean, all right, you're gonna stick a needle in your arm. That's intense.
Yeah.
That's a real, that's bizarre to me. But you can see, all right, you do these pills. Hey, they're prescription pills. Hey, you take a couple. I can see how people get hooked on those pills, and you like whatever it has some type of effect on you. If you're predisposed to, if you have an addictive personality, I guess you're off to the races. And then you mash up the pills and you snort them, but then suddenly, like you spend
a lot about.
Well, this is what was told to me,
yeah.
and I mean, come on, everybody knows. I'm from an Irish family, for God's sakes, but and I not to throw a racial stereotype at an Irish family, but come on, there's they got it's a big Irish family, but. Now you made me lose my thought. Thanks for insulting my grandmother, Jodie. That's horrible.
Man. I guess this is a good time to say too.
Oh, you snort the pills, and then you're spending a crap load of money on your pills, and then you start thinking, all right, I would never stick a needle in my arm, but man, I need to get high, and I need to save some money. So it's almost this incredibly irrational thought.
It's just total desperation at that point.
You just switch to heroin.
Have you ever seen the movie Requiem for a Dream? It's like the most messed up movie. Depicting addiction ever, and in the end, Jared Leto plays this addict who gets a staph infection or something in his arm from shooting up, and he loses it. And he's still shooting up in the infected arm.
Oh man,
people do that.
When they say addiction's a mental disease, I think that's the part of it. Rationally, you or I can think oh, okay, yeah, I wouldn't think I'm addicted to pills and I'm snorting pills. I need to save money. Let me stick a needle in my arm instead. But that's that. I don't know. And what's also scary, it's young people. These are younger people. Heroin is popular among young people, which is totally freaky to me. So the whole purpose of that article was just to try to look at, we had a rash of burglaries. We had an increase in the stats in Seymour and Shelton. And, and we had been reporting all these burglaries, so we just kind of tied it all together and got the underlying cause. So I think one thing, you want to solve it, put up drug courts everywhere. There should be drug courts everywhere. You shouldn't be just to have to clog up the Derby court with all these things, plus guys there for domestic violence or for whatever. They should have specific drug courts to try to help these people. So anyway, that's my editorial on it.
There's we should mention a lot of police departments now with the Birmingham group have started doing drug takebacks. So if you had a Percocet or something for your wisdom tooth being taken out, you can give it back to the cops. They'll get rid of it safely, so that you don't have to worry about someone stealing that from you or being sold or whatever on the street. That's a minor part of how these are getting out, but something.
Also, maybe be sure to lock your cars and put away the valuables in your cars, because a lot of the valuables that were being taken were GPS devices and anything that could be found in the glove compartment of your car.
Yeah, don't leave anything in your car.
Don't leave your car unlocked ever.
And people say, you put that on Facebook and then you get somebody in there. Oh, God, I remember when I was a kid, you could, walk around naked and nobody would care. Whatever. Times have changed. That's over.
Yeah,
don't leave anything in your car. If you want to make, that's the way the world is now. You can't leave your car unlocked.
So, anyways, next week we'll have more stories looking at stats in Ansonia. We got Shelton coming up, so we'll have more,
we'll see.
And we'll keep covering this stuff as it happens.